Uh, so today we'll start with one more topic on looping statement, that is nested for loops. So we have already seen writing of nested if statements, right? So what is a nested if statement? So we have an if block, and inside this block, so we are writing one more if. So this is nested if. In the same way, you can write a for statement, that means a for loop inside a loop. So this is your first statement. So you will have your initialization, your test expression, that is test condition, and your increment statements. Okay, so this is your for loop. When you are writing this for loop, inside this for loop, you can write one more for. So writing of this pattern is called as nested for loops. So the execution of your for loop, it doesn't change, but you can write a for loop inside a for loop. So we'll call it as outer for loop and inner for loop. So this for loop is called as outer for loop, and this for loop is called as inner for loop. See, I'll tell you how the statements in your for loop will execute. So how it differs from an outer for loop to inner for loop. Okay. So first of all, what is a nested for loop means? You can write one loop inside the another loop. That is called as nested. Okay. If you write it for loop, it becomes a nested for loop. You can also write while loop inside a while loop, inside a for loop. So anything you can write. That is called as nested loops. But most of the cases, so we choose using of nested for loops than using a nested while or do while. So we very frequently use these nested for loops in the coming topics. Okay, when we discuss about next topics like arrays, we will use these nested for loops. Okay, so first I'll tell you how this nested for loop executes, and then we'll see with an example program. Okay, so first look what happens. So first it initializes the outer for loop. First it initializes the outer for loop. Better with other than this, I'll tell you with I'll write a simple example and I'll explain with that, so that will be more easy for you. Okay, I can write like this: I equal to 0, uh, I less than 5, I plus plus. Okay, this is how your nested for loop looks like. So you'll have an initialization statement, you'll have your test expression, you'll have your increment statements like this. Okay, so the loop which is written with here, this this is called as outer for loop, and the loop which is written here, this is called as inner for loop. Okay, so first we'll see how it executes. So first what it will do is, first of all, it will initialize your value. So which value is initialized? So you have two variables here, one is I and another one is j. Okay, you are initializing your I value. So you have to look very carefully, because it becomes a bit confusing if you don't listen properly. Okay, so look. So first it initializes your I value. So that means outer for loop initialization statement will be executed first. And then it verifies this condition. So what is the condition? The condition is 0 less than 5. Yes, the condition is true. The value of 0 is less than 5. It satisfies. So when this condition is true, what it will do? It will execute the statements inside the for loop. So what is the statement inside the for loop is you have one more looping statement you have here. This looping statement is one statement in the for loop, in the outer for loop, right? So then what it will do is it starts executing the for loop in its own way. How a for loop executes, the same way it executes. So first it will initialize this j. So j value gets initialized to 0, and it verifies 0 less than 3. Yes, it satisfies. So it executes the statements which are written in the inside this for loop. That means inside the inner for loop. It executes the statements inside the inner for loop. And after that, after completion of all the statements inside this inner for loop, it goes and increments your j variable. That means j becomes 1. After incrementation, again it verifies the condition. Like a normal for loop, it executes the inner for loop. It verifies the condition 1 less than 3. Yes, 1 is less than 3. So again it executes the statements. So these statements are executed again. And after completion of these statements, again it increments your j value. Then verifies the condition j less than or equal j less than 3. That means 2 less than 3. Yes, 2 is less than 3. So again it executes these statements here. So these statements are getting executed for the third time. And then j plus plus. So what is the value of your j? 3. So that means 3 less than 3. So what is the result of this 3 less than 3? It is false, because 3 is not less than 3. So when this becomes false, look carefully. When this test expression becomes false, it will not execute this inner for loop anymore. Now, as of now, I am verifying the inner test condition. So when this inner test condition fails, it no more executes the inner for loop. So it comes out of the inner for loop and starts executing the outer for loop. And in outer for loop, you have only one statement, that is the for loop, so which is already executed. So it goes back and increments your I value now. It goes back and increments your I value. So now your I becomes 1. And it verifies the condition now. So whenever you update your I value, it verifies the condition again. What it verifies? 1 less than 5. When 1 is less than 5, again it is true. So it enters into the outer for loop. Enters into the outer for loop. That means the body of this outer for loop. So body of your outer for loop is having an inner for loop. That means again it starts executing your inner for loop from the beginning. That means your inner for loop is restarting for the second time. First time it has executed when I value is equal to 0. Second time it is executing when I value is equal to 1. So it initializes the j value to 0. That means re-executing your inner for loop. After initialization, it verifies the condition. What condition it verifies? 0 less than 3. Yes, 0 is less than 3. So again, it executes these statements. After completion of all the statements in the inner for loop, again it increments your j value. So j is, that means your inner for loop variable is re-executing from the beginning. Again, after updation, it again verifies 1 less than 3. It becomes 2, 2 less than 3. Again, it executes 3, 3 less than 3. So when this condition 3 less than 3 appears, it becomes false. When this becomes false, it will not execute your inner for loop, and simply it goes to the outer for loop again. So previously my I value is 1. So when I say I plus plus, it becomes 2. And now it verifies this condition. So what is the condition? 2 less than 5. When 2 is less than 5, so this condition, that means outer for loop test condition is true. Okay, when your outer for loop test condition is true, it enters into your body of the outer for loop. So body of the outer for loop is having one more for loop inside it. So again it restarts, so re-executes. So that means j value will get initialized to 0. Again it begins like this: 0 less than 3, again 1 less than 3. And at some point of time you will get 3 less than 3, and this condition fails. So got it? So this is how it iterates. So your inner for loop is the one which will be reinitialized in every time. Whenever the outer test condition becomes true, your inner for loop will re-execute from the beginning. See, for the first time when it is 0 less than 5, your j value is starting from 0. When again 1 less than 5 condition satisfies, your j value again starting from 0. When 2 less than 5, again it is true. Again, that's after this I will get 3 less than 5, and again 4 less than 5, and after some time you will get 5 less than 5. That means your outer test condition is also false. When your outer test condition, this 5 less than 5, is false, it will not execute your outer for loop body. It comes out of the outer for loop as well. So it will not execute your inner for loop anymore. Got it?
Yes, sir, got it.
So I'll show you with an example. So what
Sir, what is
happens?
the use of it, sir?
What is the use of writing these kind of statements is, in the later topics, so we have a topic called arrays. So where we'll have a two-dimensional arrays, and so in two-dimensional arrays, so the data will be like in a tabular format. So when you have a data like a tabular format or matrix kind of data, so in such kind of situations, you need to, when you want to access such kind of data, you should have a nested for loop to access them. So without a nested for loop, it is not possible to access the elements. So where in your two-dimensional array, like your matrix, so for every element you will say a of 0 1 1 0. So like that, so you will have two indexes, we'll call them. So to represent one element in your matrix, so you have to tell the number of the row and the number of the column. So to which row it belongs and to which column it belongs. So you have to tell both of them. In such kind of scenarios, you have to access them with the help of only through this nested for loops. So you'll get a good idea.
Okay, sir.
So when we use them with
I
arrays.
literally understand or use it. Thank you.
I'll start stdio.h. Okay, so here I'll take. So when I'm managing two for loops, so I require two loop control variables. I'm saying them as I and j. Okay. Simply, I'll simply display the values. I'm not doing anything. So just how these will display the values. I'm just showing you. Okay. So first I'm writing an outer for loop, writing like I is equal to, you can say 1, uh, I less than or equal to 5, I plus plus. So this is my outer for loop. So I'll write one more for loop, which is a nested for loop, which is I call it as inner for loop, starting from j is equal to 1 and j less than or equal to say 7, j plus plus. Okay, so I'll say printf percentile d percentile d. So here I just want to display the values of both I and j. So what is the value of I and what is the value of j?
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Sir, I have a doubt.
yes, yes. Tell me.
Sir, can we write another nested loop, sir?
Yes, it is possible. You can write one more
Sir,
also.
if we write another,
Yes.
how it will work? I mean, it will complete second and third, and again it's go to first, or else what?
First, okay. Let me complete this. I'll show you show that example also. Okay.
Okay, okay, sir.
I'll try to show that example also. Okay. So this is my print statement inside the nested for loop. So I'm just displaying the current values of I and j. That's it. And here I'll write one more printf slash n. So slash n is for a new line character. So every time when I say one slash n, the control it changes to a new line. See, it won't take any input also, just displays the numbers. See, this is my I value and this is my j value. So when I value is equal to 1, so j value changes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, at this point, so when j value reaches to 7, after that it becomes 8. So the condition fails because I have written a test condition up to j less than or equal to 7. When j value becomes 8, it will fail. So when the condition fails, it will not execute that inner for loop again. So what it will do is it goes back and increments the value of I. Then I value becomes a 2. So when this I value becomes a 2, again see, when I value becomes 2, so j value gets reinitialized to 1. Again it will be repeated till j value is equal to 7. When j value reaches to 8, it will stop here. Again I value from 3, 4, 5. So I have written my outer for loop only up to, that means, so I have written I less than or equal to 5. That means outer for loop I want to repeat it only for 5 times. Whereas I am repeating my inner for loop for 7 times. Okay. So is it clear up to this?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sorry, is that j incrementing?
Yes, every time j is incrementing. So you look here, this is the value of j. The left side is the value of I and the right side is the value of j. So when the j value, these are the values of your j. So when j value reaches to 7, that means after 7 it becomes 8. So you have a condition here, 8 less than or equal to 7. So this condition fails. So when this condition fails, it will not execute your inner for loop. So it will not print any values. What it will do, if here I am writing new line character. So that is the reason I am getting two new line characters here. Okay. So later what I am doing is I am incrementing the value of I. So here I value is 2. So now it got incremented to 3. 3 less than or equal to 5 satisfies. Now my j value is getting reinitialized to 1. I value is 3. J value is starting from 1. So always it repeats here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And later here when it becomes 8, again this fails. So when it fails, two new line characters, and then it goes back and increments your I value from 3 to 4. So that is why my I value is 4 here. And J value gets reinitialized to 1. So that is the reason J value is from 1 to 7 again. Clear?
Yes, sir, I got it.
So if this is okay, I'll just try to show you with a simple one with one more for loop inside this. Okay, I'll take one more variable, say k. I'm taking very small numbers here. So 2, 3. And here I can take one more for loop. So k is equal to 1, k less than or equal to 4, k plus plus. Here I'll display the values of both I, j and k. All the three values I'll display. one more percentile D. Here it will give you K. Okay. So what happens here? First, it initializes my I value and verifies this condition. So when this condition satisfies, it initializes my J value. Okay. So after J value, it verifies this condition 1 less than or equal to 3 satisfies. Then it initializes the K value. So whenever that test condition satisfies, it will execute that, it will try to execute that respective block, this block, this block. So here this condition satisfying 1 less than or equal to 3. So it tries to execute the statement inside this block. So inside that block, I have one more for loop. Okay. So what I'm doing here, it initializes K value 1 less than or equal to 4. It will execute this block now. So what this block is having, this block is having a print statement which will display the values of I, J and K. All I, J and K, all the values are ones. As of now, all the values are ones. So this is the only statement inside this block. After completion of this block, it increments my K value. So now your K value becomes 2. 2 less than or equal to 4 satisfies. Again, it displays the values of I, J and K. What are the values? I, J and K values of 2. After this, it becomes 3. 3 is still less than or equal to 4. It displays 1, 1, 3. After 3, it becomes 4 less than or equal to 4. Yes, still it is true. It displays 1, 1, 4. And after 4, it becomes 5. 5 less than or equal to 4. Is it true or false?
False.
So when this becomes false, I have one more statement here. What is the statement? Move to the new line. So after moving to the new line, that means I have completed executing this block. All the statements inside this block are completed. So it goes and increments the value of I or J. It increments the value of J. So from J, from 1, it becomes 2. It verifies this condition 2 less than or equal to 3. Is it true or false? It is true. So when it is true, it tries to execute the statements inside this block. So what are the statements inside this block? You have a for loop here. So where your K value gets reinitialized to 1. Again 1 less than or equal to 4. So this time your I value is 1, your J value is 2, your K value is, it again starts from 1. So you'll get like this 1 2 1, 1 2 2, 1 2 3, 1 2 4. So after this it becomes false. Again it starts with 1 3 1. So like that it executes. Just look at the code output of this. Say after 1 1 1 2. 1 3. So with this, one step for j is over. So again now your j value I is over. So again j is starting from, sorry, I is starting from 2. That's it. Because you have written only I is less than or equal to 2. Got it or not?
Yes, sir, I got it. It is clear now.
Got it, sir.
Okay. Mm, this is what your nested for loop is.